So, welcome to your practice. And thank you so much, of course, for joining and supporting Read and Write Kalamazoo. As you know, they're a nonprofit that caters to the academic side of support. So, preparing for going back to school, right? And the last one is next month, and this one's for Safe Kids Kalamazoo. So affiliated with Bronson, and they do safety, car seat safety, sports safety, all of that towards the kids, and that's on, I think it's September 9th. So the weekend after Labor Day weekend on Long Lake. There you go, Dawn.
But I'll be kayaking the Pine that weekend.
Oh, well, too bad. We'll be on your lake. Enjoying your lake.
Yeah.
But so, and it'll be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because let's face it, this is Michigan, and sometimes the afternoon is a little bit warmer, right, than 10 a.m. And it'll be launched from the North Beach. So if you are familiar with Ramona Park and you get onto the beach and you go all the way down to the left side, we'll anchor over into the cove area there. So Shannon knows, she's been there a number of times. Thank you. But any questions before we get started? Yeah? All right. Well, thank you guys for coming, and go ahead and find your posture of choice to start practice in. I've heard a few rumors about this lake, which I didn't know, so we won't tell you.
Great fishing lake, great fishing lake.
It's a great fishing lake. So you're welcome to find a comfortable seat, right? Sukhasana, easy seat, crisscross applesauce, full or half lotus if you have it, Padmasana, Ardha Padmasana. If you'd like to sit on the heels with bent knees, right? Full Virasana if you want to bring the heels outside of the hips, your choice. And wherever you've landed, go ahead and close the eyes. And sometimes if you want to start practice in child's pose or lying down in Shavasana, on your back or on your belly, certainly up to you, whatever serves your purpose this morning. Right? Can you grow length through the spine, nice and long? Right, so rooting down into the ischial bones, those sit bones at the divots of at the bottom of your glutes, so that you can erect. And still, while you find some comfort in your spine, there's still that complete awareness, right? Take everything in, right? The sun, the sounds, the warmth. We're very fortunate today where it was possible it was going to start out really cool and dreary, and now the sun is out and it's nice and warm, right? The water's warm. Know that this is your practice, so whatever doesn't serve you, please leave it out. Feel free to stay close to your board at all times, right? There's no need to stand up on your stand-up paddle board. And as you start to ground down, perhaps you set an intention for your practice this morning. And something doesn't come into mind very quickly, you can utilize mine. And it's just a simple word of being grateful. Grateful for the summer months here in Michigan, for nice weather, for being out here in nature. And remember, you can always recall that intention throughout practice. It is there for you. While your eyes are closed, start to connect with your breath. Noticing the inhales and the exhales as the air comes in and out through the nose. And starting to consciously lengthen the breath. Noticing as you grow really deep and expand through the chest on the inhale. Can you feel it all empty out on the exhale? And breathing nice and deep, nice and long. and taking 3 rounds of breath in and out through the nose. Perhaps adding in Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breath, as you add in that slight constriction in the back of the throat. Right? It's that sustaining breath, grounding, safe, utilizing it as you move and you breathe, taking 3 rounds of breath. And at the bottom of that third exhale, softly open the eyes, flutter them open, and stay as you are. Let's get nice and long, bring the arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, and then exhale, bring the hands to heart center. So feel that upper back open up again, big inhale as you bring the arms all the way up. Perhaps you even look up at the sky, and then exhale, bring the hands to heart. Nice, one more time, big, big, big breath in, how much you can circle it up, and then exhale as you bring it back in. Nice, and resting the hands on tops of the knees, moving into a seated cat-cow, right? So as you ground the hands down onto the tops of the thighs or the knees, your big inhale as you press the chest forward, so retraction into the upper thoracic spine, and then exhale, tuck the chin to the chest and round, starting to mobilize, warm up through the spine. And so as maybe a few of you know, I've been out in the East Coast with my family for a couple of weeks, glamping, so we were finding our way, so allowing you to move into compass pose for today. And it's a very advanced posture, but we'll all take it in various stages and allowing it to become accessible to you and your body. Right? We'll be opening up into the hamstrings, into the abductors, the outer thighs, activate into the side body, growing length and strength. A couple more rounds of your cat and cow seated. Always welcome to close the eyes. Doesn't matter where you are in your rounds. If you want to add in anything new, whether you circle through, right? Roll through the neck if you wish. And taking one full round of the seated cat-cow. And settling in on the exhale. And feel that neutral spine sitting up nice and tall. Parallel the chin to the water, and start to extend the legs forward, right? Getting into Dandasana, staff pose, and you can put a bend in the knees, right? So as you sit up nice and tall, you can start to put a little bend in the knees to start out. It's nice and early, right? So the hamstrings aren't quite warmed up. And flex the feet so that toes are pointing towards the nose. Really ground down into those sit bones. So remember that the handle is your friend, right? That's where you want your center of gravity. That's where you want your pelvis, your navel. If you're standing up, flank the handle with your feet or your knees, right? So bring the arms overhead on a big inhale, and then exhale, reach forward and then down, coming into Paschimottanasana, forward seated fold, and then we'll roll and flow through here. So inhale all the way up, and maybe this time you start to lengthen those knees, and then exhale, you hinge, press that belly button into the spine, and you flow with the breath. Once again, your cadence, right? Your movement. It doesn't have to be very exaggerated, just starting to bring all that awareness into the hamstrings. Can you start to lengthen them out inch by inch early in the practice, so by the time you get into your compass pose, they're really long, really lengthened. All those striations really finding its way apart. One more round of breath. And then on your exhale, the hands land where they may, whether it's here on the calves, the thighs, towards the ankles. Perhaps you can grab onto the great big toes. Remember, there's never any judgment, always accepting your body as it comes to the board for today. I was going to say your mat, but let's face it, mat, board, same thing, right? And you breathe one more round. On that exhale, can you get a little bit deeper? And then on the breath in, rise to the top, articulate through the spine. Pop up that right knee, right? So getting into a seated spinal twist. So right foot on the inside, outside, your choice, what feels good for you. But starting to really open up into that right outer thigh. Right, Shannon, your season, so I'm going to put my back to you. So notice how it intensifies with the right foot on the outside of the left knee. So figure out where your right thigh is for today and start to wrap that left arm around that right hand down behind you. Shift the gaze towards that right shoulder. Again, there's that activation into the abdomen, right? So if you let the abdomen go, you'll find that your twist is a little limited, right? Press the belly button up and in, and then utilize that breath, big breath in. And then exhale, you twist and you rinse. And if you let that left leg go, can you re-dorsiflex that left foot so you open up into the back of that leg? And on the bottom of the next exhale, unwind and switch sides. So pop up that left knee. Again, left foot on the inside, outside, your choice. You'll notice one side's always a little bit less flexible, right? And so finding the modification adjustment that suits you. And as you start to move a little bit more and you feel the warmth, you'll feel how lengthened you start to become. One more round of breath. Nice, and go ahead and release. And starting to get a little bit more if you want. Okay, so depending on what you would like, all right? If you want to turn and face a long edge, understand. There's a little balancing factor in there, right? So if you want to get into a wide-legged forward fold, and we'll start to laterally open up into the side bodies, right? So if you'd rather stay facing forward on your board, no worries. You can just come into more of a butterfly pose, Supta Baddha Konasana, right? Or not reclined, just regular Baddha Konasana. But a grounding or finding Sukhasana, your choice. But reaching up and over, left arm, right arm. Right, taking both sides. So as you move and flow in between each lateral stretch, can you keep the chest nice and open, right? So you're not hunkered down. And then allowing that pranic energy, all that breath, to open up into the intercostals on the side, transverse, internal, external obliques, right here so that you can find some space and mobilize the breath. Nice, Kelly. Perhaps that opposite arm reaches for the opposite foot. Yeah. Nice, you guys. Beautiful, Sarah. And taking a couple more rounds, your choice. One more full round from right to left and left to right. And when you finish up your rounds, making your way to facing the front of your board once again, right? And starting to tap into the core, Navasana, boat pose. So if you have lost the center of your gravity on your board, go ahead and refine it. Okay. And sitting right on top of your handle, you can plant the feet, but lengthen through the spine and reach that heart forward and up, right? So rather than taking a boat pose like this, right? Ground the feet down, lift it up, nice long spine. You can reach the arms forward. If you like, you can start to get light on one foot, the other foot. Engage into the belly, right? Full variation is that V shape, not my favorite. It always hurts my back, so I hate boat pose, but it's great. Nice, beautiful, Kristen. And holding, perhaps you even close the eyes. And feel the strength of the core for one more round of breath. And then exhale, plant the feet, wrap the arms around the shins, find some flexion in the spine, a nice counter posture, right? And then slowly start to rise up to seated and find your tabletop. Tabletop. Right? Stacking the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees. Find your belly button right over the handle, right? So you've already mobilized the spine, but if you wanted to take a traditional cat-cow, you're so welcome to do so, but we'll move more into the side body in just a moment. So I'll give you just a moment to do whatever postures that fit you, whether you just hold statically, nice neutral spine, right? nice. And so from here, we'll get into half circle, Ardha Mandalasana. So kickstand that right shin out a little bit and ground down into the right hand. So bring it right in front of your handle. Stack the left side on top of the right. Ground down into that right shin. Maybe the toes get into the water and you can notice how warm it is. And then you reach those left fingertips all the way up and over. Lift the hips up towards the sky. Find some length. And then exhale, return to that tabletop, and then you switch sides. So moving very mindfully, very carefully, right? Will flow forever how long you'd like, right? So whether you go only once on one side and once on the other side, or maybe twice, right? Lengthen your stance. So Kelly and I discussed this earlier. So it's very, very weird, right? If you especially have a sustainable yoga practice, we always want to be in this one line. But here on your board on a floating floor, it's a little different, right? So if you want to inch those extended toes a little forward and that right and the bottom knee a little back to take up some more space. Notice what feels good, what doesn't, and just take a few more rounds. Bring all the awareness into the side body. What's a summer without SUP Yoga, right? Like, talk about core. So taking one more full round wherever you are, and when you've finished, go ahead and find a child's pose. Bringing the big toes to touch, spreading the knees nice and wide, and elongate into the arms. And it's okay if you guys are like super side by side, right?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's like now we've got the platform of this whole floor rather than just this one, right?
Yeah. Okay, what do we do?
Humbly melt down, and if you so like, you find some space between your forehead and your board. You can stack the fist upon each other and plant your forehead on top of that top fist, right? And you breathe. And so from here, ladies, puppy pose. So those of us who are more novice and completely new to stand-up paddleboard yoga, go ahead and plant the forearms, stack the hips over the knees for puppy, okay? So if your decision today is to stay nice and low to the board, you can always take puppy pose instead of downward facing dog, right? You can always curl the toes under or just simply bring the tops of the feet, open up into the front body. So perhaps your gaze starts to shift towards those index fingers. Right? And you press into the navel. And otherwise, if you so wish, go ahead and curl the toes under, downward facing dog. Yeah. Feel free to get your hands wet, right? Let's face it, so when you have a little bit of traction with the wet hands, right? And make sure your navel is over that handle. You're welcome to bend one knee and then the other. Perhaps you shift your hips a little side to side, shake out through the head. Nice, Kristen. Hop up high on the toes. And so we'll move into your vinyasa variations, right? And as you guys know or may not know, vinyasas are to reset between each segment of your dynamic practice today. So your next inhale, go ahead and shift it forward into a high plank, Phalakasana. Right, so the shoulders right over the wrist, the hips are nice and lifted, so you protract to the upper back, nice and strong. Right, everyone, lower down, knees, chest, chin, Ashtanga, all the way down to the belly. Beautiful, Kelly. Inhale for a cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Lift up the heart. You guys look so pretty. That's why I just keep taking pictures, right? This is such a beautiful place. And then roll over the toes. Come back to downward facing dog or puppy pose. Right? Take your time. And as you take a full round of breath, and your exhale settles those heels closer towards the board. So we'll take a different variation, adding in your Chaturanga Dandasana. Always know that you can always come down to the belly or down to the knees as an option, but if you're moving to Chaturanga Dandasana, inhale, shift all the way forward, high plank. Nice. Exhale as you lower halfway, hug those elbows into the rib cage. Beautiful. Inhale, flip to the tops of the feet, upward facing dog. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Nice. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog or puppy pose or child's pose, right? Your choice. Never have to be all the way up and high. And know that you can always add in what you'd like, right? So if you want to add in an extra push-up, you want to leave it out, right? Harness some of that energy, keep it for later. You're always welcome to do so. And so take 3 rounds of breath right here. Right, that option to open the mouth, release some of that heat, preparing you to move into the first dynamic series in your flow 1. And as we start to move into flow 1, can you find some length into the side bodies? Find some activation into the outer thighs and lengthen through the hamstrings. Right? So what I'll do is I'll stay nice and close to the board. Those of you who have a sustainable yoga practice can always take the posture standing up right away, but I'll demonstrate them low to the board, so if you decide to stay there, you're welcome to do so. So inhale, right leg lifts. Bring the big toes to touch. Raise up that right leg. You're always welcome to come down to the forearms. From here, bend the knees, stack the hips. 3-legged dog with a twist, right? Square off through the shoulders. Your inhale brings that right leg to straight, and then your exhale brings that knee towards the nose. If your forearms are down, pop up onto the hands. Plant the foot between the hands, right? So notice once again where your navel is and adjust, right? So before you even start to rise for low lunge or high lunge, can you heel toe that right foot a little out to the side and that left knee a little out to the side? Take up some space and keep that navel right over your handle. Root down into the right foot, left knee, raise the arms up, low lunge, right? Now, if you're courageous, you can take a skinnier stance, right? A more narrow stance, much more challenging, but certainly up to you, right? So you're pressing that left hip forward, right hip back, whether you're low to your board or standing up nice and high. Shrug the shoulders down and away from the ears. Look up at the sky, big breath in. And then exhale, kickstand that left shin out for a warrior 2. Right? So coming into a warrior 2 in this variation, so imagine that that left shin is like a long foot, right? And so there's this heel to heel, heel to arch, but imagine it with the heel to mid calf, right? Extend the arms all the way out, gazes over that the right fingers, right? Hug that lower belly up and in, lengthen through the spine. Flip the front palm, go up and back, reverse the warrior, up and over. Right, left hand to the left hamstring, Viparita Virabhadrasana. Breathe into the right rib cage, and then exhale, come down for side angle, Parsvakonasana. Right, modified variation, right forearm, right thigh, left arm lifts, and always know you're always welcome to look down. Right, the balance is much more stable looking down rather than looking up at the sky, especially if the winds are changing and the clouds are moving. It tends to be a little distracting. And you breathe. One more round of breath. Next, inhale, straighten through that front leg, reverse a triangle. So just bring those right toes all the way towards the front of your board, up and over. You're always welcome to keep that bended knee if you so wish, right? You don't want to make any of those transitions because it'll immobilize you. Go ahead and just keep it the way it is. Otherwise, push that right foot forward, up and over. And then exhale for a triangle pose. So this time, right hand to the right shin, left arm lifts up. Engage into the core, into the belly. Lift the gaze towards those left fingertips. One more round of breath. And then exhale as you look down. Soften into that right knee. Plant the hands. Bring that right foot back. Step it back to that high plank. And then wash it out with a vinyasa. Remember, you can always leave it out. Come back to down dog or puppy pose or even a child's pose. And we'll all meet back in that starting posture, whether it's down dog, puppy, child. Don't lose your paddle. Okay, don't.
It's stable.
Okay, okay. We all know where it's somewhere is, just in case, right?
Stable.
Breathe.
More stable than I am.
Breathe. And so as you guys know what we do on the right, we'll be doing on the left. So when you're ready, whether you want to come down to your knees, your choice. Otherwise, stay nice and lifted. Bring the big toes to touch. Inhale, left leg lifts nice and high. And go ahead, spread the toes, activate into the feet. Beautiful. Bend the knees, stack the hips, open up the hip. Nice, Sarah. Inhale, re-extend it, and then exhale, crunch it in for a tiger curl. Right? And then softly plant the foot between the hands. Gather that foundation, once again, your feet, right? So whether you need to widen your stance a little bit more, feel it with the hands first, and then really press into the board, rise to the top, high crescent lunge or low lunge, right? So if you're in low lunge, beautiful, you guys, nice. Keep that left knee over the ankle. I see you guys twitching, right? Like, you'll feel it tomorrow, right? It's like, that was the best workout ever. Take a big breath in, and then exhale, kickstand that right shin out to the side. Perhaps you plant your hands and open up for a warrior two. I know, right? You never realize, right? Right? Stabilize first, and you can stay right here, right? There's always that option to just stay because I notice, I get it, right? Otherwise, if you'd like to flip the front palm, go up and back, reverse the warrior, up and over. Nice. Find all that length in the left side body. Nice, Dawn. And then your exhale brings you into a side angle, modified side angle. If you're ready for extension, you're welcome to take it, right? Left hand to the inside of that left foot. You never knew side angle could be so hard, right? Right. Inhale, rise, warrior two. Nice. And then you can, again, you can stay right here. You can start to push that left foot forward towards the front of your board, and then reverse the triangle up and over. Yeah. Side body. Nice. Hold, breathe. And then your next exhale brings you down for that triangle pose. Left hand down and your right arm reaches up. Beautiful. Nice, look down, soften into that left knee, bring in the left heel closer in, spiral the hands down and wash it out. Take that vinyasa or not, right? Never any reason to do one if you don't like to or want to. And as you come back to your inversion of choice, whether that's down facing dog or a puppy pose, or you humbly bow in a child's pose, take 3 rounds of breath. And so we'll continue on with flow 1, repeating it. And if you would like to stand up, you're welcome to do so. Perhaps some of you find that actually standing up is a little bit more stable than staying so close, right? There's different options. And then always, if you'd rather come back down to the board, you're welcome to do so, right? And as well as you're welcome to leave out this flow, right? You've already done it once. If you don't want to do it, you want to just jump in on the second flow, certainly your choice, right? If you're coming with me, go ahead and find your downward facing dog, right? Feet hip width apart, heels get heavy towards the board. Anteriorly tilt that pelvis a little towards the thighs. So bring the big toes to touch. Inhale, right leg lifts nice and high. Remember, you can always come down to that left knee. Is that me? No. Okay. No, that's all right. Bend the knees, stack the hips, 3-legged dog with a twist. Right, dorsiflex to that right foot, square off through the shoulders. And then your inhale, re-extend. Exhale, crunch it in. Tiger curl. Plant the foot between the hands. Again, widen that stance. So you're welcome to take warrior 1 or high crescent, right? So here on your board, warrior 1, flatten out on, come down to the sole of the back foot, right? But bring that left hip forward. So really pressing on the outside of the left foot. Nice, Kristen. And then you can raise the arms all the way up. Squeeze the inner thighs together, whether you're low or high, right? Stay lifted through the pelvic floor, and you breathe in, and then your exhale opens you to a warrior 2, right? Subtle movement. So Kristen, honey, face the other side. There you go. I like your twist though, right? muscle of the front palm, go up and back, reverse the warrior, right? It may not be as extensive as your regular reverse. And then your exhale for that side angle, right? Modified, extended if you wish, right? If you have a bind or wrap practice, you're welcome to do that. Internal rotation of the shoulders. Tuck that top arm behind you, right fingertips in between the thighs, and you connect 360 degrees. Nice, Sarah, beautiful. Releasing any binds. Straight through the front leg, or push the right toes forward if you're low to your board, up and over, reverse that triangle. Mindful, ease, graceful, and then exhale for that triangle pose. Right hand down, left arm lifts. Again, looking down for that stability, and you breathe. One more round of breath. On your next inhale, come back to warrior two. Warrior two. And spiral the hands all the way down to the board. So we'll add in your second flow. So hands down, right foot to the outside of the handle, left foot, right? So I'll demonstrate staying low to the board, so knees, right? Or you can stand up if you'd like to stand up and press into the knees or the feet, rise all the way up, grab onto the left wrist with the right hand, press into the knees or the feet, breathe in, and then exhale, standing half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So hips left, upper body right, and then inhale, come back to center, switch the grip, and then exhale, hips right, upper body down to the left. So open up that side body, and then inhale, come back to center, exhale, bow and fold all the way down. Uttanasana, forward fold if you're standing up. Otherwise, come down like an embryo if you're close to your board. Inhale, come to a half lift or a tabletop, and then exhale, fold it down. Nice. If you're standing up, soften into the knees. I'll meet everybody down here on the board. Sit on your handle, right? And moving into what's called Trianga Ekapada Paschimottanasana. I hate to say it in Sanskrit, but I don't know what the English term is, right? So it's like cat-cow, right? But for this posture, okay, couple of options. So we'll extend the right leg, okay? And this is internal rotation of the left leg. If that's uncomfortable for you,
I don't bend like you guys.
I would just say, if it's uncomfortable, go ahead and externally rotate. Okay, right? Yeah, because let's face it, we all don't have nice open hips or hamstrings or quads or such. But so ideally, internal rotation, right? And bring that bum right over your handle, and you breathe in whatever variation you took. I'll take this one with you, Dawn. Arms overhead, and then exhale, fold it in, right? Really point those toes all the way towards the face and hug that belly in. So again, really paying all that attention into the hamstring. Maybe the hands don't really reach the toes, and that's okay, but you can really, really activate and lengthen if you just simply dorsiflex the foot. Maybe the heel even comes up off your board. Notice it, right? And you breathe, and you settle. One more round of breath. Maybe on that second exhale, you fold a little bit deeper. And from here, those of you who have an internal rotation, go ahead and keep it. External rotation, keep that, okay? So I'll stay here with you, Dawn. Plant the hands behind you so that right leg is still extended. We haven't switched yet. Ground the hands behind you and lift up through the chest. We're gonna do a few Brahmana dips and activate into the hip flexors. I know, it's gonna be hard, but nice, really. So inhale, lift that right heel up, feel that quad. Point the toes towards the face, and exhale, dip it down. Hover, right? So it doesn't actually connect, it's hovering, and then inhale, lift it up, and then exhale, lower it down. It may just be even 3 inches up, right? Inhale and exhale. Nice. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Go ahead and fold over once again just to take that pressure off the low back that you just engaged in. And then slowly rise, plant the hands, unravel the legs, find a tabletop or downward facing dog, and option to wash it out. Yeah, so you can, just like Shannon, cross the ankles, plant the hands, find your inversion, take a wash if you wish or not. You guys are doing great. Left side, left side, left side. So when you're ready, bring the big toes to touch or the knees. Inhale, left leg lifts, nice and high. Bend the knees, stack the hips, three-legged dog with a twist. Beautiful. Inhale to re-extend it. Exhale, crunch it in. Plant it right between the hands, okay? So making that conscious decision, you're gonna rise all the way up, warrior one, or high crescent lunge, or low lunge, your choice. Steady and strong. I'm loving today. This is nice. It's really pretty here. Okay. And you breathe in, and then exhale, open it up for a warrior two. Ooh, careful. Okay. And so Kristen, go ahead and move that left foot forward so your ankle is right underneath your knee, right? I don't want you to have an ankle injury. There you go, beautiful. Nice, settle into the hips. Flip the front palm up and over, reverse it. Exhale, come down for a side angle. So the left arm is down and the right arm reaches up. Either modified or extended, your choice. Open up through the chest. Again, widen that stance, right? Left foot towards the left edge, right toes towards the right edge. Nice. Inhale, warrior two, right? Moving into revolve triangle. So if you're low to your board, inch those toes forward, otherwise straight through the front leg, up and over, reverse the triangle. Nice, Sarah. Yeah. Nice, Dawn. And then exhale for that triangle pose. Left hand down, right arm reaches up. Beautiful. Shift the gaze if you wish. And then inhale, come back to warrior two. Nice. Windmill the hands down, right? And then move that left foot to the left side of your handle, right foot to the right side or knees. So flanking your handle with the feet or the knees, Uttanasana, forward fold. Forward fold. Nice. You're welcome to take a half lift if you wish. Reset the spine, and then exhale, fold it down. And then circle it all the way up, palms to touch, stand up nice and tall on the knees or the feet, and grabbing this time with the right, grab the right wrist with the left hand, take a breath in, really press into the feet, and then up and over, right? Pulling that right wrist with the left hand, standing half moon, and then inhale, come back to center, switch the grip, and then up and over to the other side, stretch. Nice. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, fold it all the way down. Uttanasana, forward fold. Or embryo, if you're low to your board, come to a half lift, reset. Exhale, fold deep. Right? And if you're standing up, soften into the knees, come down to the board so that unilateral stretch. So this time, as you come down to your board and plant the bum down, this time left foot, left leg forward, internal rotation of that right leg, right? Or for like me and Dawn, regular Janu Shirshasana, yeah? And so you breathe in, and then exhale, you fold it down. And then utilize that breath for a couple more rounds. So an inhale finds a little bit of space, and then exhale, you fold it down deeper. Can you find a little yogi toes, right? Spread those toes nice and wide. Find some space between each of those toes. One more round of breath. And then on the next breath in, climb to the top. Again, those Brahmana dips, right? So plant the hands behind you, press the chest forward so you're not hunkering down like this. Okay, make it nice and tall, and remember that the heel doesn't have to come up that high, right? So you breathe in, raise up that left heel, exhale, lower it down. Hello to the hip flexors and the quads. Inhale, lift it up, engage into the lower belly, exhale, lower it down. One more, you guys, strong. Inhale and exhale. Nice, plant it down, go ahead and fold it over just to lengthen, take that a little bit of a counter into the low back. And then when you're ready, rise to the top, extend that right leg out, bend the knees, cross the ankles, find a tabletop. Wash it out if you wish. Take a vinyasa or just simply meet me back in downward facing dog. Nice, you guys. And as you come back to that transitional posture, take 3 rounds of breath. So on your next breath in, come high on the toes and listen up. Exhale, bring the knees down to the board. Right? So coming to a tabletop, we'll move right into flow 3 because we're running out of time. All right, so as you come into your tabletop, returning back into that internal rotation of the left thigh this time and extend the right. So with you, Dawn, go ahead and externally rotate rather than internally rotate. And you can just take that same variation we just did, right? And you can plant that foot down. So the rest of you, I challenge you to take Heron's pose. So if you guys, Kristen, if you want to turn your board, you know, like this is the time if you want to start facing me, like you've started facing that way because of the current or whatever, and you want to turn your board, we can do, why don't we take a time to release that. I like how Shannon and Dawn just, I don't know, you guys just stayed exactly where you are, right? Like what did they do? Right, she goes, yeah, right now I'm liking it, I'm not later, right? But this is nice when we have like a handful of us. It's nice and cozy, and we can personally interact with each other versus a lot of times when we have those 17 people in class, I'm like screaming over here. Just like, what did she say? I can't even see her, right? I get it. So those of us who are in this variation, okay, Dawn?
Left one?
Yeah, bent left knee, okay? So you're welcome to take the same variation we just did, otherwise Heron's pose. So I'll demonstrate it for you. You breathe in, raise the arms all the way up, and then exhale, go ahead and bend the knee, make a basket for that right foot, and then you can bring that left knee closer into the midline, press down into the pelvis, right, and raise up that right leg. I love it, you guys look great. Hold it, right? I'll take your picture because I know you guys love it, right? Nice. And slowly release it down. So, Kelly, I did, because it would be a crunch. So I said I didn't take your picture because it would be. You got, okay, we get it, right? So after your Heron's pose and you breathe and you release it down, go ahead and once again just fold over in a different fashion. Notice that hamstring once again. And then this time we'll join Dawn in a regular Janu Shirshasana. So from internal to external rotation, but this time taking a revolved, right? So taking that right hand. So should I look at you guys this way, right? Right hand, so that thumb is facing down. Grab onto the inside of that right foot and reach that left arm all the way up and over, right? Maybe even connect the fingers and the toes, yeah? Really reaching energetically and find all that space in the left side. Beautiful. Inhale, climb to the top, right? And go ahead and release. Bring the big toes or the soles of the feet together. We'll get into bear pose, another balancing posture. So grabbing onto the great big toes with the 2-piece fingers and thumb, right? Ground down into that pelvis once again, and now open. Eesh. Press the heels. At least, you know, if you fall back, right?
I'll do it this way.
I have to do it. Hold it and balance, yeah? There you go. Nice, you guys. And go ahead and come back to center, plant the feet, wrap the arms around the shins. And then we'll do the other side. Right, so when you're ready, taking once again that internal rotation of the right knee, extend through the left leg. Dawn, you know what to do, my dear, yeah? Yeah? And again, you can just keep it nice and rooted, right? Otherwise, interlace the fingers, make a basket for that left foot. There you go. Yeah, bend the knee to make it accessible. There you go. Ground down and extend. Yeah. Press the belly button in. Lengthen through the spine. Beautiful, Kristen. Nice. Nice, Sarah. Beautiful. Breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then exhale, release it down. Go ahead and fold over once again. Release through the low back. And then bring that right knee in from internal to external. Whether you want a traditional forehead to knee or a little wider stance. And then you bring that right arm all the way up and over as you roll the left hand thumb side down. Revolve the forehead to knee. Nice. And then inhale, rise to the top. And go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together. And we'll just do a little bit of a tortoise pose, right? So like butterfly where the feet are really close in, taking a wider diamond shape and then scooping the ankles, right? And then you can fold it in. Right? Perhaps that forehead comes right into the inner soles of the feet or the inner arches. One more round of breath. And then inhale, articulate, climb to the top. Okay. So we'll get into compass pose. If you know it, you're welcome to go right into it, right? I'll demonstrate it. So bring that right knee bent right into the midline, and then hiking this right knee up on your shoulder, yeah? And you can mirror me if you want, right? So remember, some of us are gonna do it, some of us aren't gonna do it, right? I don't want to fall in today. So I'll face forward. So hiking that right knee up, okay? And that left knee is into the midline. Then you extend the right leg out towards the side of your board here. The left hand grabs onto the outside of the right foot, and you extend.
Yeah, right.
Nice, Kelly.
I knew you could do it.
Right.
Chick over here.
Beautiful, Kelly. I love it.
Wow.
I know, right? Nice, you guys. You lengthen those hamstrings. Nice, Kristen. She's like,
We're doing something.
right. You're right. That is your posture. Beautiful. Nice, you guys. Exhale, release. I know, right? It's all the adventurer.
Stretch. Oh my God. I've been trying to stretch that area for days.
Oh, well, I'm glad you were able to do it today.
Thank you.
It's like, I'll just come to SUP Yoga.
Right.
All right, so when you guys are ready, there's the other side.
Yeah.
If you want to try the other side. If not, go ahead and just find a resting posture of your choice, whether you want to be seated or child's pose. So again, this time that right knee, right, comes to the midline. Hike up that the left one on. So if you hunker down a little bit, sometimes if you kind of get it really up onto that shoulder, right hand onto the outside, extend this left hand out to the side of your board, and then rotate. My left side's much harder. Oh, your left side is much better, Sarah, yeah? Can you look up a little bit? There you go. Nice. Nice, Dawn. You guys look great. One more round of breath. And then on the bottom of that exhale, slowly, mindfully release. And just find that seat, right? Sit up nice and tall. I know it really does stretch the serratus and the latissimus dorsi all the way back here into the side bodies. So you'll feel taller today, right? You guys did great. What a practice. And so just close the eyes. Maybe you recall the intention. In such a posture as compass pose tends to accelerate the breath, the heart rate. And can you just simply ground down and consciously slow the breath, right? It's a very conscious motion to slow the breath. You mindfully have to remind yourself to take a big inhale and then an even bigger exhale. Taking a few more rounds of that. starting to get more into that what's called Longana breath, right? The Brahmana breath with those leg raises activate, versus the Longana breath taps into the rest and digest. And so from here, softly flutter the eyes open. We'll move into pigeon, right? So pigeon, either in its traditional sense or reclined pigeon, Dawn. I encourage you to lie on your back, honey, and take a figure 4, right? So pop up that left knee and put the right, or you can sit up. Yeah. So you can sit up if you want. If you want to take seated swan, this is seated swan as a variation. Or if the rest of you, yes, beautiful, Kristen, go ahead and bring that right knee towards the right wrist, extend through that left leg nice and long. And those of you seasoned, if you have a different variation of pigeon, whether it's king pigeon, mermaid, you're welcome to take that. Otherwise, you can sleep your swan. Right, go ahead and bow down. And so, Dawn, just like I say sometimes, Dawn, you can take it sitting up. I know your hips, because you're putting your hips in. Okay. Just as keep your hips square, though, you're always welcome for that one. Yeah, or even lying down. And slowly press the hands into the earth, lift the chest. And we'll take deer, right? So deer, or another seated spinal twist. So deer, since that right knee is bent, go ahead and rise, sit on. Again, that internal rotation of the left knee and that left knee, right heel, right? And so this right knee may be popping up, and that's okay. And then again, if you wanted to take a regular seated spinal twist, okay, you're welcome to do that as well. So here in deer, feel the pelvis sit up nice and tall, and then you can twist. Left hand to the right knee, right hand beside you. Or as another variation, if that internal rotation bothers you, you're welcome to just take a regular seated spinal twist like earlier in the practice. Yep. You guys look like little mermaids. Beautiful. One more round of breath. And then exhale, unwind, right? And then plant the hands and find a tabletop, downward facing dog, your choice, as you move into pigeon on the left side. Targeting the glutes and the piriformis right in the back there. We did so much into the hamstrings. Getting a little bit more into the hips in a different direction, different posture. Rounds of breath. And slowly rise to the top. Lift the chest, plant the hands. Move into deer pose once again. Bring that right knee, internal rotation, connected to the sole of that left foot. And then once again, taking that spinal twist. the legs, bring the feet in front of you and come to lying on your back. So as you come to lying on your back, feel the sacrum, right on top of that handle so that you're in the center of gravity. Pop up the knees towards the sky, moving into bridge or wheel, your choice. So starting to open up into the front body, right? If you're moving into bridge, go ahead and pop the knees up towards the sky, press into the feet, into the shoulders, lift up the hips. And that option to interlace the fingers behind the low back, inch the shoulder blades into the midline. And then exhale, releasing any binds, articulate each vertebral body down to the ground. And we'll take one last inversion. If you have a different inversion besides candlestick, you're welcome to utilize that inversion, whether it's tripod, whether it's Shirshasana A, supported headstand. I know one of you has that in your practice, right? There is a point in your practice that inversions such as headstands do become more releasing rather than more effort, so you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, taking candlestick, extending the legs all the way up towards the sky. And so Kelly, if you have, you're about the only person I know besides Shannon who would have a headstand practice. If you're going upside down, yeah, head right in front of the handle. Okay, so if you're taking Shirshasana this way or tripod this way, plant the crown and you can go upside down. Okay. Otherwise, everybody else can extend their legs up. Really reach those toes. Engage, right? So allowing the blood from the toes to go all the way to the nose. And if you're upside down or haven't quite gotten upside down, you're welcome to return to your board when you feel ready. Everyone else, go ahead and bend the knees, hug the knees into the chest, Apanasana. A little shake of the hips from side to, well, not the hips, but just rocking the legs a little side to massage that low back. Those of you who are upside down, you're welcome to take whatever posture serves you for your counter. And in your own time, finding your way to your Shavasana, corpse pose. And go ahead and really take up some length and space. You're welcome to dip your feet or fingertips into the water if you wish. I'll watch for anything. Release that conscious breath. Release all tension. You've earned it. trying to bring a little bit of awareness back to the physical body. Making those small movements of wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers. A gentle rock of the head from side to side. And if you wish to end your practice here in Shavasana, I encourage you to do so. Otherwise, if you'd like to close your practice off with me this beautiful morning, inching your hips over to one side of your handle and turning onto the opposite side, perhaps utilizing your forearm as a pillow to support the head, the neck, and at least taking one full round of breath. And then planting the hands, rise back to your seat. And coming back to that starting posture, whether it's Sukhasana, full or half lotus, Padmasana, Ardha Padmasana, and you have nice open hips, right? Perhaps it's a little bit attainable this time, bringing the top of one foot or both feet into the inguinal creases and the hips. And keep the eyes closed, lengthen through the spine. Join me in bringing hands at heart center in prayer position, Anjali Mudra. Bow the chin towards the chest, and finding that honor and gratitude for you and your practice here on your board, out in nature. Thank you so much for joining me, for supporting a wonderful cause. I hope to see you again before this season ends next month, and until we meet again, Shanti, Shanti, peace. Namaste. Nice, you guys.